What's up everybody, stress-free. I'm back on a Diablo 4 video. Here we're taking a look at the Evade Rake Spiritborn and how it takes on Lilith. I'll also have a build guide towards the end if you guys are interested in that, and I have a written build guide in the description below. Hope you guys enjoy this, and let's get into the fight. Alright, let's take a look at the gear I was using for the Rake Evade Spiritborn build, starting with the helmet. Here we got the Hishii Kisungi, and basically just provides us with guerrilla skills, ultimate cooldown reduction, vuln damage, attack speed, and primarily we got the protector can be invoked at range and pulls in inward with smashes. Enemies in the area take 60% more damage from guerrilla skills, and you double this against knockdown enemies and bosses, so it's a pretty huge power boost. Here you probably want to be going for maxing out plus the guerrilla skills, and I'm using the dexterity gems. Next we got the Sapazantic, another must-have for this build. It's another one of the weapons. Here we're going for, it's basically primarily used for its unique aspect, where your basic skills deal 144% increased damage and always use their third attack. And every third cast, it basically strikes enemies 3 times. So in this build with Kapaleki, your core skills become basic and they get all the powers of the basic. So this also pretty must have, and you want to be going by maxing out here the chance of basic skills to deal double damage. I kind of got a little lazy here and I didn't really roll this thingy, but you guys can always try to get the full max out on chance of basic skills to deal double damage. That's probably the most powerful one here. And with the runes, I got Pak Clocks, and when this thing activates, when you cast a skill other than basic or defensive, you consume all your resources and you get 100% more increased damage for 1 second. Also pretty strong. Next we got the gloves. Here we're going for the unyielding aspect. Casting a guerrilla skill increases your weapon damage by 29% of your armor for 3 seconds, maximum 1500% bonus weapon damage. Here the temporary we did is overpower damage. Overpower is a must-have for this build to stack, and thunder spike size. And you also want to be going for core skills here, or if you get lucky you can do a rake. And also got resistance to all elements and max life. Next we got the pants, and we got Harbony Ibawaka. This was a helmet before when they switched it up. Also one of the strongest, pretty much must-have Spiritborn items. Here I focus on damage reduction. That's probably like the best one. And the unique aspect here is what you want to have, because basically you get 48% more for each spirit hold that your skills have. And here we got like 3 of them over here, so it's like almost 150% more increased damage. And for the gems, we got dexterity gems. Next we got, of course, this is probably like the most important item for this build, is Rada Kapaleki. It makes your core skills basic and they cost no resources. She just really cracked out. And also, like, your core skills consume all vigor to cast a larger size and become guaranteed critical strikes with 0.90% increased critical damage for each point of vigor spent. So that one's pretty nice with stacking up more of your vigor. And this also it also gets become like more powerful when you have cost reduction, or like cost to skills reduction, which is also gonna go right now with a weapon. And of course we got the 2-handed weapon. I'm using a polearm. It gives 100% vuln damage as like its inherent affix, my bad. And for the aspect here, we're going for the Rake. Rake manifests a Spirit Jaguar, also casts a Rake at a random enemy, dealing 238% more damage. That's pretty much a must-have for this build. Ton of damage multiplier. And for the masterworking, we got here, tempering, we got chance for Rake to do extra hit. That's probably the best one to try to max out here. And I got also overpower. Overpower is huge. And also you want to get resource quick cost reduction. That's also really strong. And I got a double great affix with max life and damage. Couldn't pass that up. And for the runes, I got some Zek, and basically just reduces the ultimate cooldown by 1 second. That one could probably swap out for the Barbarian Shout. I gotta try that out if you guys have like a really low cooldown reduction on your protector. Next we got the amulet. We're going here adaptability, also must have, because now your Rake is a basic skill, so you get all the benefits from this. So basic skills generate 5 additional primary resources once per skill. Basic skills deal 0.90% increased damage for each point of primary resource you have, up to 500 resources. So that's also pretty good for stacking up your resources. So it does a ton of damage with that. For the tempering, we got here again a resource cost reduction. It has like a weird kind of combo with Radakapaleki, so that's why we're stacking that. And we also got the total armor. That's also pretty strong because we're kind of like a noodle at Torment 4. Very glass cannon build, so you want to have at least a little bit of the protection. Plus also bumps up the aspect of what you're going yielding hits. And here you want to be going for, I got lucky here, plus furnace. That's like one of the best passive points. And dexterity is a must, and potent is also really good. So try to get those. Maybe even try to get them with G8, but those like giga rare and really stupid expensive. That's that, and we got the all resistance gem here going. Next we got the rings. We got the first one is, the aspect here is redirected force. You gain critical strike damage equal to 70% of your block chance. Blocking doubles this bonus for 10 seconds. Also nice bump up. For the tempering, we went here for protective cooldown reduction. Also a really strong skill to have, your ultimate, because like it sucks up the enemies together, clumps them up, and increases the damage they deal to them. And once again, we're going for overpower damage. We're stacking that, and we got vuln damage, max life, and dexterity. Next we got the Ring of Star of the Skies. Then we really need to explain this in here. I also got pretty lucky here with plus all the core skills got crit. Pretty much I think that's the best one to max out here. And of course the aspect here is huge. It gives like 50% more increased damage. That's the gear. Let's take a look at the skill tree real quick. Once again, I'll have like the full written build guide in the description below. Make it easier. On the spike, of course, going for accelerate thunder spike. We use that to evade and reset our Rake. Here, of course, we're going maxing out Rake into advantage Rake. And we got vigorous, and we got balance exertion, and we're also going to with the follow through. Next, we're going into focal point, apex, diminishment. Here we got 1 point mirage and restraint power. That's pretty much for that side. Here we're going for armored hide into reinforced armored hide. We're also taking counter attack into a reinforced counter attack. We're taking the scourge into enhanced scourge and reinforced scourge. That's pretty much it for there. Here we're taking resilience into dominant. We're also taking brilliance, we got acceleration, and of course these two, those are really strong. We got for potent, and we got furnace. Okay, and of course we're going with protector. It gives us a buff, barrier, which is also nice, and it just clumps up enemies together, makes it easier for like speed farming, and also gives you a big huge boost to damage from one of the uniques that we have. And we're going to Exalter. Here you max out resolution, we max out spiritual attunement and supremacy. As for the key passives, we're going for vital strikes. You deal 100% increased damage to vulnerable enemies. Very strong. Let's go over the Paragon board real quick. Here we go. Here in the section, we're going with Wildfire as our starting rune. We're taking all these. Going for the next board is Sapping. And here we go for Menagerist glyph. This gives us all magic nodes get increased. So we get these, all these get pumped up. And dealing damage, your guerrilla skills, increases all your damage before. Pretty strong. Taking all these nodes. And we're moving to the next section. Here we got Drive. Because we're always moving with the skill. I mean, with this build. So this basically gives you like 60% more increased damage. We're grabbing all this, Restorative, Nature's Dance, and the glyph here is Canny, also very strong. Maxing out just increases all your non-physical damage. Pretty strong. And then we're going to go on to the next board. We got Convergence. Because you're dealing like fire damage, I think, primarily here. So that's also gives us 60% more increased damage. And the glyph here is Spirit. This bumps up our critical strike damage. Just maxing all this, taking all these nodes. But that gets fixed when we get like the all-stat potion going. And we're going for Runist, Elementalist, Training, and the last board we have is Revealing, where you deal more damage to vuln enemies and deal increased 30% increased damage against crowd controlled enemies. And the glyph here is Revenge. It bumps up all the rare nodes, like we have over here, and does thorns damage. Okay, that's pretty much for the Paragon board. Let's see, let's go over cast perks. And we got here Brawn over Brains. We got Ton of Life, Healing Received, and more Overpower. But resistances get reduced, so it's kind of like a negative effect, but you get a ton of positive here also. You get a ton of life and overpower damage. Overpower damage is pretty strong for this build. And speaking of next, we got the Back Off, also pretty insane. That does 200% increased damage on your moves, since they're like, it spawns like itself kind of anywhere randomly, so it kind of gets this bonus without getting that penalty with 30% reduced damage. Next we got the Combined Strikes. This is what you also get a ton of increased damage here, but it also puts the cooldown on the thing. So we use Evade to reduce just to take off the cooldown of Rake. When you evade, you basically have to evade through enemies though. And speaking of the Overpower, how we get Overpower is that your basic skills make them guaranteed critical strike and Overpower of 100% increased damage, but the powers are stable, giving them a 3-second cooldown. So we don't really care about cooldowns, because with unstable power, we basically just evade through enemies and we reset it. So that's your gas perks that you want to be using for this build. Next we have the Mercenaries, the usual. We got it right here. I like the 15% increase to all resistances, really strong, and I like Inspiration. And for reinforcement, I got Altkin, just for extra damage reduction. Let's go with Spirit Hold. Yeah, totally forgot about that. I'm going for Eagle Gorilla. And let's see the skill tree, skill assignments. Basically, I have Rake on my hotbar, Counter Strike, Armored Hide, the Protector, Scourge, and Thunder Spike. That's pretty much it. Oh yeah, let's go over the kind of potion setup I'm going. You want to get the Elixir of Resourcefulness. That's one that reduces your cost reduction of your skills. There's a pretty nice bump up with Radicapaleki. They like synergize well. Also go with Song of the Mountain for extra armor. And I also go Smoothing Spices. And here how we fix our all stats with this. So that's pretty much it. I don't think I'm forgetting anything else. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Be sure to like and subscribe for more D4 content.